Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking to you about screwdrivers, different types, and mainly the types of heads. Screwdrivers have been around for a long time, and historians have found them as early as the 15th century, some even earlier. I have a whole bunch of types here, and over time they've really evolved from a standard one head per screwdriver, like these right here, to more adjustable, like individual bits that go on parts like this for a drill or screwdriver, and multiple ones that can hold 4 in one in just one screwdriver. So there's a whole variety of them, and they're extremely useful for a homeowner, from chairs to furniture to light switches, and they're not too expensive, so they're a great investment. But knowing the types of heads, which is these part right here, or the bits, these are individual bits that go in, that fit in the screws, is very important. So even though they're cheap, if you get the wrong bit, it's not going to work. So I'm going to be talking to you about that today. The first most common type of screwdriver they're going to want is called the Phillips head. It's named after its inventor, Henry Phillips, and it's basically the shape of an X. This right here is a large one. As you can see, it's got 4 sides angled down, and this is what 70% or more of a homeowner's tools and projects is going to use. Furniture, for example, uses this a whole lot. It comes in different sizes, from this one being a large one. You can see this right here is a whole bunch of them, from large right here, quite flat at the top, to all the way small and very pointy. Different screws require different ones. Like this right here is a drywall screw, and this one right here, and then this large one actually ends up fitting it pretty well. So I can put it right in there, and that's going to work well. So a Phillips screwdriver is going to be one of the most important and one of the most used screwdrivers. So I'd recommend that be your first screwdriver purchase. I have a couple fixed screwdrivers here, like these two, that they can adjust to a different bit, but I don't need them too often because I use them so often, and it can be convenient having just a fixed one, really easy and ready to go like these. The next most common type is known as a flathead. It's just this one big panel, and it comes in different widths and thicknesses depending on the screw. So right here, I like this 4-in-1. It's got a nice rubber handle, and it comes in a large and small flathead and Phillips. So these are the two main ones the most homeowners are going to use. So as you can see, large flathead and a small flathead. These ones, unlike Phillips, can enable you to put a little bit more force on those screws. A Phillips is designed actually to stop too much force from being applied and can actually strip out the screw. Whereas a flathead is a bit stronger, and you can put a little more force because instead of it being on these 4 parts that can rotate a little easier, all the weight and material is focused on halves. So you're really spreading out that weight on that screwdriver head. So this one right here is an example. Just put it in there and screw it in. I don't really like these too much because they're very slow to put on and they're very easy to slide off, that I'll just be going quick and then it'll just pop right out. A Phillips head is much quicker. And also another tip is you can, if you need, it's not ideal, you can use a smaller flathead in a Phillips if you're in a pinch. It'll usually work if it's a little smaller. Some of them too actually can handle both. Like this one right here can handle a flathead on the long axis, cross, or a Phillips in there. So whatever you have access to, you can do. That's another tool. The flathead is one that I have multiple fixed screwdrivers like this because I use them so often. Again, it's used on many appliances and parts, but I don't like it. I prefer the Phillips head just because it's much easier and quicker to use, but you're still going to need it, so it's definitely good to get that too. One of my favorite types is known as the Robertson bit, also known as the square bit. This one right here, as you can see, is a large one. It's just a big square, 4 sides, and it's extremely strong. These ones, unlike the Phillips or flathead, are the least likely to strip out because of how well secured it is in that screw. So Robertson bit, it's also quicker than the flatheads, that this one takes a little time to seat it in properly. This one's pretty quick in getting it in, and it's got that extreme durability, which makes it really helpful. Also, comes in multiple sizes, as all of them do. Like this, you can see large, medium, and small. So Robertson bit, you might not use it as much if you're just a general homeowner, but if you're going to be using screws on something that needs a little more force, it might be a good investment to get this and this type of screw. Another type is known as Torx. Torx is a more recent screwdriver bit like the Robertson, and it's basically a star, as you can see from these shapes right here. It comes in different sizes, from small, medium, large, and all the way up even more. And it's basically a 6-sided star. This one's advantage over a Phillips or a flathead is that it has more strength and it won't be able to torque, it won't be able to strip the screw as easily, although the Robertson square is a bit stronger. But this is the quickest one to enter into the screw. Because it has 6 sides, you just put it near it and it's got a deep hole, and you just put it near it and it'll just quickly seat itself, and it's very unlikely that it's going to pop up or strip it. So if you want to be doing a lot of screws like decking, for example, and you have to just go board after board after board, a Torx bit might be a good recommendation for you if you're just going to be using a drill and want to go really fast, because this one, it basically finds its own good seating, so that's its real advantage. And again, it has slightly more torque and won't strip a screw as easily as a Phillips or flathead, but it doesn't quite have the strength of the square Robertson. So you need to balance out which one you want, a little more speed or a little more torque. But again, the Torx and the Robertson are pretty close. One of the biggest tips I can give a homeowner is, although these fixed screwdrivers can be good and helpful in certain situations, and they're often cheap to come by, if you had to get one, I'd recommend getting one that's modular and can fit multiple bits. This right here is an adapter that goes in my drill, and it has a standard hexagonal shape that fits almost all drill bits. This right here is Black & Decker. This right here, I don't know what brand it is, but it's all gonna fit in the standard shape. So you can just buy whatever drill or screwdriver bit you need and just adjust it on the job. Instead of having to spend $6-7 for a full thing, you can spend $6-7 and get a kit of 8 bits that'll fit a whole bunch of things. Another option, what I have right here, is it's a bit of a cheaper screwdriver, which I prefer getting a fancier screwdriver and then getting a whole bunch of bits, but it has a whole ton of different types right here. This one, just to show it off a little bit, it's adjustable in length right here, has the standard hexagonal shape for it. It's actually a little bit smaller than these ones. And it also has a rotating part, so on places where, say, behind a little wall, you can rotate it. It's not going to give you quite the same torque, but you can still rotate it, and it comes in handy on occasion. Not always, but just can be nice to have. However, the main thing that I use this one for is it just has so many of every different type. First off, it has some ones that cover, like a bolt right here, a little bit small. And then next one, you can see the star, so you know that would be a Torx, and it says T for Torx 8, Torx 9, so it has standard sizes. Then it has some more Torxes with the T's, even smaller ones. You can see how tiny those are, Torx 3. And then it has the flathead, or the Phillips, excuse me, and you can see the plus sign and the 2, 2.5, 3.5 for the millimeters of across. So you'll be able to remember what size. Some other ones again, other even smaller Phillips. This one's a 1 millimeter, so that's pretty small. And then it has these right here are like this, Allen wrench heads. So it's just a hexagon at the end. Keeping it going again, got some more of the Allen wrenches, a little bit smaller though, and they go in order from the millimeters. So 3 millimeters, that's 3.5, 3, 2.5, and so on. So you'll be able to fit whatever it is and just try it out. Then again, has some flathead here, Phillips, whole bunch more flatheads from medium, 3.5, all the way down to a 1.0 millimeter, which is quite small. And then finally, this one has some ones that I don't really use too much. There's some non-standard ones. That's a tiny one. This is like a weird U shape, a triangle right there, and a big Torx one. So probably not going to use those as much, but having a kit like this that has a whole bunch of different heads can be a nice investment, and it's not super expensive. I hope you found this video helpful in finding out what type of screwdrivers you need, and again, showing how they work a little bit with them. And if you're a homeowner, just the flathead and the Phillips is all you really need to get started. But depending on what you need, if you're going faster, getting that Torx, or going a little bit, you really need that speed, and going with the Robertson square bit. Finding what works for you is really what's key. And again, I recommend getting adjustable bits so you don't need to keep spending money, and also space with all these, because this takes up a lot of space to hold 6 different ones, whereas with this I can have all these different types nice and organized and in a small one. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or want to visit us more, you can go to rdawg.com. That's rdawg.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.